Right, so a pleasant evening to someone who may be watching this video presentation right now. So, at this point of time, we are going to discuss about the English language family tree. And before I go on to the main content of this topic, let me formally introduce myself. My name is Modelisa Maker Dava Gabiso, and I will be your presenter for tonight. So I have here a quotation that I've prepared for you. So I learned this quotation. By the way, I made it myself, and I learned this from a K drama I watched entitled Lovely Runner. And it says that do better today so you want to wish to go back in the past while you're living your life in the future. So this is the quotation I realized when I watched that K drama because the flow or the content of that K drama, there's two couple, and then the girl has the ability to go back in the past through a watch. And it's so lovely because these two couples are so sweet together. But the thing is, the guy, if ever like they always like meet each other, be with each other frequently, the guy will die for some reasons. I'm not yet done watching that certain K drama, but the guy will really die. I think he has died for like three times already. But because the girl has the ability to go back in the past, she can change whatever may happen in the future. So she keeps on going back. That's why I realized that it is so important to do better today. While you are living your life in the present moment, you really have to think and plan what you're going to do and to just always think to do better because we in reality as a human we cannot really change everything in the past, but we can do better, right? So for us not to have, regrets, doubts, we just have to do our best and yeah, be thankful of everything that we have in this present moment. So that's it. I hope you have learned something from the quotation I made. But going on, we have here our learning outcomes. Demonstrate an understanding of the concept rather of English language family tree. Analyze the many factors that contributed to the development of the English language and apply the lesson learned in comprehending the complexities of English language. Now, what do we have here? We have here the introduction. The English language belongs to the Indo-European language family, which includes languages spoken by over 3 billion people. This means that English is related to languages like German and Dutch. So if you will look at the amount of people speaking the English language, you will be somehow amused. Like, oh, there are 3 billion people who speaks this language. And here, we will be talking more about the Indo-European language family tree which I will be showing you later on. Right? So, going on, there are many different dialects of English, and the language has evolved over time. So, the dialects of English includes British English, American English, and many other dialects. So that's it. And then English is the West Germanic language. It was first spoken in England. The language has also been greatly influenced by other languages throughout its history, including Latin, French, and Norse. English is now the most widely spoken language in the world, and it is the official language of many countries. It is also one of the most popular choices for second language learners. So, the West Germanic language, this is where the English language belongs to. So, later on, you will really have a better understanding of this when you will see the language family tree. But yeah, so you have to also remember that the English language was first spoken in England. You know, Queen Elizabeth, that is where she lives, and that is the country where the English language, again, was first spoken. Okay, so English is the most widely spoken language. If you can see in here in our country in Philippines, many people, many Filipinos are able to speak the language, right? That is because the English language is really that widespread. Okay, and not only in Philippines but also in various countries like China, Japan. So even though they do not consider English as their native language, but they have learned it in many aspects. I mean, many reasons. They might have learned it through studying it, of course. But in Philippines, if you will look at the history of Philippines, we have learned that our ancestors learned it in the past because we were colonized by the Americans. Okay, so that's why that's also a factor that influenced the Philippines to be English speakers. Now, so much for that. Let us go on to the English language family tree, which is the Indo-European. So if you can see here, English has a big portion in here, right? So it's really big. And then you can see branches. There are lots of branches. So that's what I've been saying a while ago, that English belongs to the West Germanic or the Germanic branch, right? So it has here uh other languages like German, Bavarian, Swiss, how do you read it? Swiss, or Africans, Dutch, Swedish, and many more languages. So they are interrelated or somehow connected to one another because they belong to the same branch, which is the Germanic branch. Okay, and also we can see different branches here, like Romance branch, Slavic branch, Celtic. What else? Iranian, and also Indo-Aryan. So if you wish to really like get to know more about this, you could also search it in the internet, the Indo-European language family tree. Right, so that's it. But our main focus will be the Germanic languages, as it is where the English language is part of. All right. So going on, we have here. mm, the definition of what is a language family. So, language family is a group of languages that share a common ancestor. The Indo European language family, for example, includes languages like English, German, and Dutch. All of these languages are closely related and share the same language family because they descended from a common ancestor. Language or languages can be related in different ways. Languages can change over time, and new languages can emerge from existing ones. So, here you have learned what really is a language family. So, if you will also think of it, if you will think about your family and you will like create a family tree. So, you will include there your parents, your siblings, your uh, parents, your grandparents, or your ancestors, if you could still name them. Do you know the term like apuhan sa tuhod or uh apuhan like sungkod? I don't know if you're familiar with that, but my Lala has been telling stories to us, and then she can somehow still vividly remember her lolas or great great grandparents. I don't know if I'm certain about that. But also, just like language or languages, it also has family trees. I mean, they are interrelated. That is why they are called family, right? So one of that is the Indo-European language family that includes English, German, and Dutch. The family tree I've shown you a while ago, and these are closely related. I'm sorry if I always like scratch my face because it feels so itchy. But yeah, the ma- I mean, for you to remember a language family, just think of it descended from a common ancestor. All right? So it is a group of languages that share a common ancestor. Okay, so now we have here languages can be related in different ways. How can we say that languages can be related in different ways? That is because if you have noticed in English, if you like read a book, there are words that says, for example, communication is derived from the Latin word, which is communicare, that means blah, blah, blah. So from that, you can say that um, many words are derived or borrowed from different languages. They can be borrowed from Spanish, French, German, Dutch, and many languages that are uh, related to English. Okay, so there are many English words that is derived from French as well, like boutique. And other read the word boutique as boutique, and it's so cringe. But yeah, boutique is derived from French language, and also cafe. What else? Rendezvous, what else? Yeah, that's as far as what I can remember. Those words are borrowed from French. Okay. And another one, languages can change over time, and new languages can emerge from existing ones. So, just like animals, if they die or their bloodline dies, like we can say these animals are extinct, or what do you call that? uh Endangered species, right? So in language, it's also the same with that, because if the words has not been used for a long time, so we can say that it's not existing anymore. But also because our world is constantly evolving, there are many trends that are coming nowadays, and there are many words that are being thought to other people, or other people has generated words that also have become part of English. So that is why language can emerge, can change over time, and new languages can emerge from existing ones. So nothing is permanent. Other languages, other words can be added to our vocabulary as time goes on. Okay, so that's it. Now let's go on to the next page, next slide, rather. We have here, what is the largest language family in the world? And this is so interesting because we will be like learning, like we will learn that the Indo-European language is the largest language family tree in the entire language families, because there are many language families that I've searched on the internet. And it's like I'm just amused knowing that Indo-European is the largest language, and it is where English is, connected or is part of. So there are like Austronesian language family. What else? Indo-European, which is what we are studying right now, and also Australian language family. So those are examples. Now here, the Indo-European language family is the largest of the 142 language families in the world, and then it includes over 400 languages and dialects spoken by over 3 billion people, with 46% of the world's population having a native language in this family. Indo-European languages are dominant in Europe as well as Central, Western, and South Asia. So, we have told you a while ago that there are many different language families. In fact, there are 142. So, come to think of it, that's a lot. And Indo-European happens to be the largest one, right? And what makes it the world's largest language family? That is because it occupies, or it is estimated to be 46% of the world's population having a native language in this family, right? So imagine that this Indo-European language family. So it is the dominant one among Central, Western, and South Asia. So always remember that. That's new learning coming from this topic. Now going on, we have the Indo-European language family is further divided into several branches, including but not limited to the Romance languages, Slavic languages, Germanic languages, what else? Celtic languages, Iranian languages, and Indo-Aryan languages. So these are the branches I have shown you a while ago, and I will be showing you again that language family tree for you to like vividly have an idea again of what it is like. But I will not really like expand this languages further, because we are focusing more on the Germanic languages where English is part of. Okay, so but Yeah, let me read it for you. So Romance languages includes French, Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese, with more than 900 million native speakers worldwide. These languages are all descended from Latin, which was the language of the Roman Empire. Okay, remember 900 million native speakers. Also, we have here the Slavic languages, which include Russian, Polish, and Czech, spoken by over 400 million people. And we have Germanic languages, which include English, German, Dutch, and African, spoken by approximately 515 million people. You have to remember that 515 million people. Celtic languages include Irish, Welsh, and Scottish, Gaelic, if I'm not mistaken, with about 2 million of both native and non native speakers. Iranian languages include Persian and Pashto, with over 45 million speakers. Indo-Aryan languages include Hindi, Bengali, and Punjabi. The Indo-Aryan languages are spoken by over 1.5 billion people. Okay, so this is what I'm meaning to describe. These are the Germanic languages. These are what is included in the Germanic languages. The Romance languages is the scope of Romance languages, rather. The Slavic languages, the Iranian languages, and the Indo-Aryan languages. There are many branches there, but those are just few. Okay, so yeah, that's it. The Indo-European language family tree, which is the largest family tree in the world. Okay, now going on, right? So what do we have here? Uh, the English language. Okay, so the English language belongs to the West Germanic branch of the Indo-European language family. Other Germanic languages are German, Dutch, and Afrikaans, but the family also includes the Nordic and Scandinavian languages. These languages are spoken in northwestern Europe and they share some common features. If you can see here, I have included another picture of the Indo-European language family tree, but it is uh, different from the one I've shown you a while ago because you can see the order of the languages and also the image, right? But for best reference, I suggest you use the one I first show you so that you will avoid confusions and it will be more clearly understood by you when you try to study about the Indo-European languages. But here we have one, two, three, four, five, six branches, which includes the Iranian languages, Indo-Aryan languages, Germanic languages, Roman languages, Slavic languages, and Celtic languages. So where does the English language belongs to? It belongs to the Germanic languages, okay? And in here we can see many related languages like the German, Dutch, Africans, what else? French, and many other languages, right? The Nordic, the Scandinavian, so those are also part of the Germanic languages. So they share common features and more like frequently they borrow words from each other. I mean not frequently. There are lots of words that are borrowed from each other. Okay, to convey a concept or topic more clearly, right? So going on, we have here the English language uh, in the geographic contribution. So as part of one of the largest language families, English language is spoken in many different countries around the world. It is the official language of countries like the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and other Commonwealth countries. Okay, so here in Philippines, our official language is Filipino, and when we communicate in the context of government or institution, we use the English language. So when we say official language, that is really the language that they use in their everyday communication. Okay, and what are the countries that uses this one or the English language as their official language, you have to remember the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the Commonwealth countries. Okay? So, because English language is one of the most or the largest language family in the world, that is why many different countries use this kind of language. Okay? Right, let's go on to the next slide. We have here the English language family tree, its varieties and dialects. So, I will not discuss it so broadly because it has been discussed by Ms. Juhaima. You can see here they highlighted the word, the inner circle and outer circle. So it's just so easy to comprehend because when we say inner circle, varieties are spoken in countries where English is the native language, like the United Kingdom, the US, and Commonwealth countries. And also when we say outer circle, these are varieties. I mean, varieties are spoken in countries where English is not spoken as the native language, but is used for official purposes like education or government. So, inner circle, native language. Outer circle, not native language, but is used for official purposes like education or government. So, Philippines is part of the outer circle because our native language is really Filipino. But when it comes to education or purposes in education or government, we use the English language, right? So I hope you understood the difference between inner circle and the outer circle. Okay? So going on, we have here on the other hand, English is also spoken as a second language in many non-English speaking countries around the world. In some countries like India and Singapore, English is used as the lingua franca. So, what is lingua franca? Lingua franca is a common language that is used for communication between speakers of different languages. So, for example, we will be collaborating with China as our business trading country. So, it will be called as lingua franca. English will be called as lingua franca because that is the language that we used for communication, as Philippines uses Filipino language and China uses Chinese language. So two different countries with two different languages used in daily communication connect with each other through the same language, which is the English language. So that is what we call lingua franca. Okay, so to make things a little more comprehensible, there are also standard and non-standard dialects of English, which can differ from region to region. Dialects can differ in pronunciation and vocabulary, but rarely in grammar. Okay, so here, let's talk deeper about what is standard and non-standard dialects in the next slide. Let's go. So we have here the standard dialect of English is known as received pronunciation or RP. RP is considered the correct way to speak English and it is often used by news announcers and other sorry, public figures for which it frequently is referred to as the Queen's English, Oxford English, or BBC English. RP denotes what is traditionally considered the standard accent of people living in London and the southeast of England. RP is not necessarily the most common form of English, but it is the dialect that is considered standard for British English. So received pronunciation basically is what we uh refer as the common, I mean no, the standard English, okay? Because there are many varieties of English or dialects of English. It's like what I've told you a while ago, the American English, the British English. So it might sound confusing if we will not have a standard English. And also if you will try to like apply in English tutoring services like 5 1 Talk, Native Comp and other companies, what they will be looking for as tutors or teachers for their kids or those teachers who are capable of speaking the English language in a neutral manner. When we say neutral manner, they are able to pronounce every letter, and it is very comprehensible. It is very understandable on the part of the students, right? So, received pronunciation, there is uh standards. I mean, there are standards that we will be using. I mean, the language that we will be using in English is the standard form, especially in its like formal communication with other people, or with, like in teaching profession when we are like teaching kids. Okay. Now we also have what we call non-standard English. Okay. So it refers to any dialect of English that is not RP. Non-standard varieties of English are often spoken in specific regions, such as the United States, Ireland, or Australia. These dialects can vary widely and they often have their own unique words, phrases, and slang. So I know that you have tried watching videos in Netflix, I mean, watching movies, series in Netflix, and there are different movies there, like in British, their way of saying words are very slang. Words are really articulated differently from us, coming from non-native speakers. So those are non-standard English. When also when we like try to go to their countries, we would somehow like get confused of the way they talk or the way they pronounce words, because it's like that's so natural to them. Do not pronounce other letters like R or T, or like the intonation of the words are so different that we might get confused. So that's it. That's non-standard English. But if we are using the standard English, for us, it will be understandable and will somehow connect in some way. We will somehow respond and like decode the message. Okay. So going on, we have here, oh, we have reached the conclusion of this topic. Wow. So as you can see, the English language is quite complex. It has a long history filled with many factors that influence its development. The English language is also spoken in many different countries, which has led to the development of various dialects. While English may be complex language, it is also one of the most widely spoken languages in the world. So we, or I, as future educator, I know that in the board exam, a lot of people has been saying that the English majors exam are the hardest exam compared to other majors under the college of teacher education. So I could somehow understand that it is the hardest exam, because studying the English language is really complex. You can see here it's really complex because it has a lot, or there are lots of history connected to it, and there are many factors that contributed to the development of the English language. You can see a while ago, there are many languages that are connected to English language, and there are many words that are derived from them as well. So even though this language can be hard, can be difficult, can be complex, but if we try to appreciate or to delve deeper into its history, we will somehow find it amusing as well. And we will enjoy speaking the English language if we know the history it is filled of, if we know the grammar, the other context that is part of the English language, right? So it is just also so wonderful to like say that English is one of the most widely spoken and we are able to communicate with it. So despite the complexities, if we will just try harder, or we will try to appreciate and like um study more about it, we will like learn to love it and really be proud of ourselves for speaking the language. So I've been talking a lot about this one, but I hope you have learned something from my topic. I hope I have delivered the main essence of this topic about the English language family tree. And I hope you will not exit this presentation without nothing learned, but you have gained something from me. Okay, so we have here, I'll be scanning the quiz of this topic. So this one, I think it's just 5 items. Okay, so this will be it, right? Oh, it's 10 questions. I have created this presentation long time ago, so I somehow forgot about it. But thank you so much for watching this presentation, and thank you so much for, yeah, your presence today. Presence? Oh. But yeah, thank you and goodbye. Okay.